In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the tires on your e-bike with these Kenda Krusades. This specific e-bike is outfitted with 20 by 4-inch tires. A link to this product is in the description below, so let's get started on the install. I had a recent blowout on this. I was riding and I hit some road debris and I really punctured this tire. The tire has a little over 900 miles on it. You can see it's almost bald. I had ordered these tires already. I'm gonna try a different tire. I'm gonna try a better tire, this Kenda, since I only got about 900 miles on these CSTs. Okay, I'm gonna remove the cap that's protecting the nut that holds the axle on. I'm gonna come up here and clip that zip tie and disconnect the motor connector so that it's all ready to go, so when I disconnect it, the wheel can fall freely. And this is an 18 millimeter socket. So I'm gonna hold that on one side, but this other side, I'm gonna use a crescent wrench because the motor cable prevents me from sliding a socket on. If you have an open wrench, that would be better, but any crescent wrench should do. All right, got the crescent wrench on there, wrench on the other side. Simply loosen that nut. Now, please take note before you remove this that there's a washer on the outside. It looks like there's a washer on the inside. And same thing over here. Let me double check. So that when I put this back on, the wheel is in the right position. So you really want to have that done properly. All right, I got the nuts loose on both sides. It's not coming out of the frame very easily, but I give it a little tap. There we go. All right, now that the wheel is removed from the frame, what you want to do is roll it forward like this. And then remove the chain from the gears. Like that. And now I have that free, and you can see this is the hub motor. That's the, you can see there's a little keyway there. All right, now I'm gonna remove the tire from the wheel. Not sure if I need tire spoons. No, it's not too bad. I got the bead from one side. I'm gonna use this tire spoon. A link to this tire spoon is in the description below. You put that in there. Makes it easy. They actually sell them in a 3-pack. There we go. Up the valve stem cap. There we go. Now I got that wheel out. What I'm gonna do is actually clean the wheel up. Now you can see the old tire. It's pretty worn down. It's a CST 20 by 4. This was the stock. Let's see where the puncture was. Puncture was here. There, you can see it got it pretty good. Oh, there's that flat out that I had in there. So both of these are trash. All right. Time to install the new tire. I'm gonna put a little bit of air in this tube so it has a little formation. Also good to check to see if it has any leaks too. Maybe a little bit more, just about like that, so it's like a soft donut, takes its shape. Then what you wanna do is slowly put it inside the tire. It helps too to put the tire in the sun and make it more pliable, because as it gets colder, it's a little harder to play with. Okay, Now I got my tube inside the tire. I got these tire spoons just in case. Not sure if I need them, but I definitely want to use soapy water. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rim onto the tire. It's probably not going to be pretty, but I use the soapy water to help reduce the friction on the bead as I seat the tire. It really helps so that you're not fighting it too much. It may be a little bit difficult. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that the tire rotation, all right, it's there. You can see tire rotating that way. The tire rotates this way. So what I want to do is put the rim in like this. Is made up the stem with the hole in the wheel. You can see like that. One thing I like to do is put the cap on, then it won't fall out as you're monkeying with the wheel. Okay, what I'm going to try to do is get the one bead on this tire. The Kenda tire is definitely a lot more rigid than the CST, so I may end up having to use these tire spoons. All right, this is where you want the water. See, I'm fighting the rubber. So I'm gonna go ahead. The nice thing about the water is it will evaporate overnight. Okay, got that. I'm gonna turn this around so you can see what I'm doing. Trying to push that bead on there. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in here and do a tire spoon. What you want to do is you take the little lip, put it on there. Definitely makes things a lot easier. Then I'm gonna come over here. All right, there I go. Got the tire on the one side. Now I'm gonna put the other side on. Put on the bucket. Now, you can see the tire here. Apply a little water here. A little of the soapy water to get that. All right, I got this side on. Okay, definitely tire spoons make it a little easier. Slide that around like that. All right, now I got that tire on there. Now I want to make sure my valve stem, you want to make sure your valve stem is straight and it didn't slip to one side or the other, because if it does, it'll wear on the wheel and then eventually cause a leak. But looks pretty good to set the bead. You can also use a hand pump, but one of the things that you want to do is spray both sides with soapy water. And the benefit to that is as the bead starts to seat, it won't stick on one side versus the other. That way it kind of uniformly seals on the wheel and you won't have an imbalance. So that's what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a nice dose of water on both sides. Just gonna watch this over here. The tire was folded when it was shipped to me, so there's a little bit of a crease in here on this side. So what I'm gonna do is push down. It also helps maybe to do this on a warmer, sunny day, so the tube is a little more pliable. Kind of work it around. All right. And what you want to do is look around the bead and just try to keep it even. I'm going to pump it up to about 25 psi. All right. What I want to do is look at both sides to see if the bead got on there even. Looks pretty good to me. All right, I'm going to install the wheel back on the bike frame. You can see there's a little washer. The inner washer has a tab. That tab goes on the bottom and slides up into that region there. I put a little anti-seize on there so when I thread the bolts on it, doesn't fight friction. So let's go ahead and do that and get the chain all on. All right, let's get this done. It certainly would help if you had a friend help you with this. Get that situated like that. All right, I got the chain on the sprocket. It's not pretty. I got the washer, so the tab's on the bottom here. So now I'm gonna try to lift the tire up and bring it into position. You also have to get this side aligned and the brake caliper. You could remove the brakes, which would aid with alignment, but looks like I got it in place. I'm going to go ahead and tighten these bolts. Okay, got the bike on the ground. Now I'm going to go ahead, tighten this bolt. All right, looks like it's tightened down. The chain is in good position. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go out and pedal this. Before I connect the motor and everything back, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure the transmission's running okay. All right, I came back from my ride. Everything is looking good. So now I'm gonna reconnect the motor. And what you want to do is look for the arrow. There's an arrow here, and then there's an arrow on the connector. Line those up. Okay, that wasn't too bad. And then I got 2 new zip ties. I'm gonna also put the rubber stopper back on. I'm gonna go get the battery and confirm that everything is operational. All right, I got the batteries installed with the new tire. Now that I've gotten the hard part done with the rear tire mounted, I'm gonna move on to the front tire. That should be a lot easier with the quick release, so let's get into it. All right, in order to get the front tire off, propped it up. It's pretty easy. Release the quick release and then loosen the axle. And what you want to do is make sure you take inventory of the different springs and the nut on each end so that you can reinstall it the same way. So now this drops right out. What I'm going to do with this tire and tube, I'm going to retain it for a backup just in case I ever have a blowout, because these tires did take a little bit to source. Okay, what you want to do is make sure you pull the one bead. Make sure you push the valve stem through. All right. What I'm gonna do is pull the tube out. That'll certainly help things. And now it comes out real easy, nice. All right, so now I have the wheel, I have the tire and the tube. I'm going to keep this tire and the tube as a backup, and now I'm going to install the new tire. But before I do, I'm going to give this wheel also a nice cleaning. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is inflate the tube a little bit to get it kind of just like that so it holds its shape. Also good to check, make sure it doesn't have leaks. All right. All right, this is the wheel. This is the slightly inflated inner tube. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to install the tube into the tire like this. All right. Now what I want to do is look at the rotation. Okay, the rotation's this way. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is install the wheel onto the tire. I'm going to find the valve stem hole. The valve stem's here. Here is the valve stem hole. And put the cap on so at least it won't fall back through when I'm trying to mount this tire. What I'm going to do is hit it with the soapy water so I'm not fighting the friction as much. All right, I'm going to put the tire spoon in there and just pry it onto the wheel. You don't want to use too much force because I've had this happen with my smaller razor tires where putting too much force and then I end up pinching the tube and then I gotta dismount the tire and put in a new tube. But looks like I can do most of this by hand. Just so you can see this side, I got pretty much everything done, but I just gotta get this one segment in. Maybe use 2 tire spoons. There we go. All right, the tire bead in there. See how the valve stem's a little crooked, so I want to try to shimmy the tube if I can. So the valve stem is now straight. And now I'm gonna inflate this. I'm spraying the rim down with soapy water so that it doesn't stick on one side versus the other. I'm gonna slowly inflate it. There's a crease here in the tire from being folded, so I want to make sure that seats properly. I'm just going to work the tire around, pushing on it evenly, maybe bouncing the tire. Right here I could see the tire is not even. There, I fixed the bead. It wasn't even over there. It's still a little uneven. There, now when I look at it, these little ridges, it's even pretty much all the way around. Right here by the Kenda logo. It's a little off. All right. Gonna put the air back on. All right, I got the tire inflated. I have the brake rotor on the right-hand side here. And I'm gonna go and reinstall this. I'll line up the rotor. And what you wanna do is get your axle ready. Remember, these 2 springs, there's one on each side. So I'm gonna loosen this, take this off. So the nut is over here with the spring. I'm gonna slide the wheel up in there. Install the axle. Put the spring on. and then tighten this down. Got this side over here, the far side hand tight, and then I'm gonna use the lever to crank it down a little bit. There it is, snug. Now the wheel's ready to go. It's not fully inflated. I have about 20 PSI in this tire. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and do a short ride with this and then come back and inflate it to the max pressure. The nice thing with the lower pressure is it will help seat the tire evenly when you have a slightly lower pressure. And then come back and then reinflate it so it seats evenly all the way around. I went for a ride real quick to check that the tires are balanced well. They're doing great. I'm now going to inflate them to 26 PSI. That's where I like to ride my tires. It can go up to 30 PSI, but I feel that's just a little bit too hard. I do probably take a little bit of a range detriment to running slightly deflated tires, but the comfort is where I want to be. Overall, I'm really happy with the look of these, and I'll let you know how they wear after 500 or 600 miles. So I hope that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. Thanks for watching.